Hey guys, Bassmaster Elite Series Pro, Destin Marion back with another Bass Fishing 101. In this one, we're going to talk about the Ned Rig. The Ned Rig has really gained a lot of popularity in the last few years. It was originally made in the Midwest by a guy named Ned. I forget his last name, but he would always catch a lot of fish with this technique, whether it be bass, anything. When the conditions were extremely tough, he would catch them regardless. It is a great bait to get bit on. Not only for small fish, big fish, whatever, but you can catch any species and it works all year round. And I can attest to that. I've caught them every season on the Ned Rig. So let's start with our setup. This is a Revo Premier, Abu Garcia Revo Premier size 30 reel. I've got a braided main line with a fluorocarbon leader, which we can talk about more about why I'll do that in a later video. I've got a Fantasista Premier. This is a 6'8" medium. I want a very sensitive rod. This is a Finesse presentation, which Finesse means it's something that you are going to use when conditions are tough. It's light line generally. It's very natural and unobtrusive to the fish. So let's get to our rigging. So here are the basic components to your Ned Rig. We've got an owner blockhead Ned Rig jig head. This is a little mushroom style head, and this is what you're generally going to use for Ned rigging. The reason being is it'll stand straight up like that, and that's why we like to use that shape of a head for the Ned Rig technique. So let's it's also got the little pin here that's going to help keep your bait in place and not slide off the hook, which is really nice. I enjoy having those pins there because you will tear up some baits and they'll slide up and down the hook when you catch a lot of fish. So that's nice because it's going to help prevent losing as many baits. So the other component would be our worm. This is a traditional 2 3/4 inch Ned Rig worm. It's just basically, it's like a piece of a Senko, a piece of a like a cigar shaped worm. And that's how it kind of originated. People were just taking little pieces of discarded worms and using them for like the Ned Rig application. So this one is, like I said, like a 2 3/4 inch. This is a green pumpkin, like goby kind of color. This is really good. I do a lot of smallmouth fishing, especially on the Great Lakes, and this is a color that I really like. Pretty much they have every color you could ever think of, and each one's going to be good for different applications. I'm going to use this one just for the purposes of learning the technique. So the next thing we're going to want to do is put these two together. So I'm going to take my Ned Rig head here, the owner block head, and I'm going to rig it straight down on this worm. So I'm going to put it straight down through there. Actually, let's kind of line it up to see where we want to put that hook out. So you see how the hook's coming out about there when I have the head flush to the top of the bait. That's about where I want that hook to come out. So I'll keep my finger there while I'm doing this to help get it lined up right. I'm going to put it straight down through there and right out. And we got our little pin there. We'll help get it on there and keep our bait on there. Just kind of work it up onto the shaft of the hook there. And there we go. There's our little Ned Rig setup. That's a basic, just 2.5, 3-inch worm. That's generally what the Ned Rigs originate as. But you can use any size worm, all kinds of different baits on this. It's really like there's no limitations on that. But this is probably the most basic, and this will get you started. So as I was saying, this is a Finesse presentation. So I'm going to use a light fluorocarbon most of the time. This is an 8-pound Gamma Edge fluorocarbon, and I'm going to tie a Palomar knot, which is probably one of the more universal knots, to attach my Ned Rig to the line. So I'm going to put it through the eye of the hook. I'm going to pull it out and put that tag end back through, hold it on that side, and I'm going to tie with this loop an overhand knot. So you made the loop, now you have a loop tag end, and you take it around the bait and the back of the hook, bring it around there, so there you got that. Now you just wet the end of it to snug up your knot. Just pull both those ends tight. There we got a nice strong knot. And we have a tag end, so I'm just going to get rid of that. Just bite it off or use a pair of scissors. So there we go. We've got our Ned Rig. So the Ned Rig, this one is going to float this bait, so it's going to kind of sit like that, or like a little bit of an angle. And it's just going to subtly just sit there and kind of quiver, which is really unobtrusive, subtle presentation, natural, that really helps you get a lot of bites when the conditions are tough, or pretty much any time it'll get bit, but especially shines when the conditions are tough. So now that we know what the Ned Rig is, I've showed you how to rig it, I've kind of told you a little bit about the backstory of the Ned Rig. Let's talk about where we're going to fish this. So if you're a pond fisherman, lake fisherman, river fisherman, what have you, it's going to catch fish in all those situations. So if I was pond fishing, I mean, you can just cast it out there and drag it back, depending on what the bottom content is. If it's got a lot of slime and stuff, you might not want an open jig. You could do a kind of a Texas rig, which that's a little more, a little bit different presentation. We'll have to talk about that in a different video. I have a video about Texas rig. You can check it out. I got the link in the bio. And just kind of drag it through there on the bottom, just slowly bring it around. Like, you're really going to want to fish this slowly. There's going to be some times where you're going to fish it a little bit faster. Most of the time I fish this very slow. I just want it to naturally kind of ease all along on the bottom there. They're just going to pick it up just because they think it's an easy meal. If you're fishing, lakes or rivers or whatever, a good place to throw it is around rock. It does really well around rock because it'll stand up a lot of times, look like a little crawdad rooting, or a goby, what we have in this Great Lakes. The goby is a really popular forage up here. Those are going to be really good situations or places to throw it. So that's what I would do with the Ned Rig. There's a lot of different applications. Those are just some of the basic ones. You can use it for bed fishing. We can get into some more, in-depth stuff in a different video. Guys, just comment if there's anything else you want to know about the Ned Rig. I'm happy to share. I'll create another video to help, bring everything up to speed. But I just wanted to kind of introduce you to that old Midwest finesse technique is what they call it. It's the Ned Rig. And it's a great finesse application. I've caught tons of fish, tons of big fish on this as well, whether it be smallmouth or spots or whatever. It's a great bait to get bites, and it works all across the country. Well, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.